I understand it. Now, I'm sure every single Cowboys fan that's listening to this is going to type furiously on their keyboard either finally you see it or how wrong I am, whatever. But I see it now, in my opinion. This is obviously my opinion. It was very hard to pinpoint where the blockage was when we talk about success and the Dallas Cowboys. What I could never understand and what I could never wrap my head around is how a team can year after year after year exude dominance in the regular season. And I'm not talking about like just slightly better than the rest. Usually the Cowboys are one of the best teams in football in the regular season. So how can that team year after year after year after year after year not see playoff success? Now you can say it's Dak Prescott, bro. Dak Prescott's the one. Well, yeah, they were struggling with Tony Romo. They were struggling with everyone they've had. Devontae Murray, Dez Bryant, now CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott when he was in his prime. They've had a plethora of talent. And again, they usually dominate the regular, but I never really could understand, because obviously you want to blame you want to blame the quarterback, but the quarterback, this has happened under multiple quarterbacks. But it hit me like a ton of bricks. Was it the other day when Jerry Jones was asked a question, simple question. The question was, do you feel pressure? Do you feel like you have to hurry up and get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb? Now, for some reason, now I'm not one to condone lying. I don't really lie. I don't have a reason to lie. I think if there is an option to tell the truth or to lie, 9 times out of 10 you should lie. You should tell the truth. I'm sorry. But there are instances where the truth probably shouldn't be said. And if you don't want to lie, you probably should just say next question. You probably shouldn't. You should answer very vaguely. But there are instances where the truth probably should not be said. This is one of those instances. Jerry Jones says, no, I don't feel any pressure to get, or I don't feel like I need to hurry up and get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb, who, might I add, is one of the best wide receivers. You can argue a top 5 wide receiver in football. It hit me. Now, obviously, as someone that's not a Cowboys fan, I'm not, always checking for Dallas. But what I will say is this. This whole offseason, actually, let's couple that. Last year and this whole offseason is a prime example of why the Cowboys are who they are. You see, let me tell you what Jerry Jones has done as of right now. I'm not talking about the accomplishments. I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about Jerry Jones's actions, what it has done. Jerry Jones' actions has essentially cost him and the Dallas Cowboys millions upon millions of dollars by his patience and his inactivity, both in the draft and in free agency. Because if you look around, you see people like Trevor Lawrence get paid. You see people like Jordan Love get paid. You see people like Tua Tagovailoa get paid. A couple years ago, you see someone like Lamar Jackson get paid. You see someone like Jalen Hurts get paid. You're seeing this. And with all these names, the market keeps getting reset. But you know what all those names have in common? They do not play for the most profitable team in football, which is the Dallas Cowboys. You know who does? Dak Prescott. And while no, I'm not going to say Dak Prescott is as good as someone like a Lamar Jackson. But what I will say is you can line up all the quarterbacks I just named, and outside of Lamar Jackson and outside of probably Jalen Hurts for getting to a Super Bowl, you can compare Dak Prescott's numbers to a Trevor Lawrence, to a Jordan Love, to a Tagovailoa. And what you see is he is close, if not better than them. So what Jerry Jones has done is he's let his inactivity cost him more, because every single time a quarterback gets paid, Dak Prescott's price goes up. And one thing that we know about football religiously is if your quarterback is making the most money, a max deal, outside of one person, which is Patrick Mahomes, usually your team is not a Super Bowl caliber team because you can't afford money elsewhere to make the team better. Then you get to CeeDee Lamb, who is the Dallas Cowboys offense outside of Dak. They don't have, you had to bring Ezekiel Elliott back, but he's not the same, obviously. They do not have a reliable offense outside of CeeDee Lamb. And you come out and say that it's not a big priority when it's clearly a priority to him, seeing as though I think he's holding out. Oh, and I totally forgot about your best player in Micah Parsons, who is up for a deal. I've asked this question on this podcast multiple times now. I've asked, how can you tell if your franchise is a poverty franchise? Now, for all the people that's about to go crazy, I'm not calling the Dallas Cowboys a poverty franchise. They're the most profitable franchise in football. And they are still usually one of the best regular season teams. Even with Mike McCarthy, even with all this stuff, even with Jason Garrett, they were still winning regular season games. But the question I was also asking, how did the Dallas Cowboys get to this point where clearly, even if they want to admit it or not, their backs are against the wall? They're pinned to a corner because it's almost a foregone conclusion at this point that you're going to lose one of your big three. You're going to lose either Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons. And there's actually a good shot that you could lose at least two of them. And you want to talk about this championship window. The actions of Jerry Jones has not allowed that window to open since Jimmy Johnson. Look, man, I understand that Jerry Jones is probably the most famous owner, maybe in sports. But a lot of that is because of he is the one that controls the narrative. He's the one that has his own, radio spots in Dallas. He's the one that's always has his face in the screen talking about something after games. He's done, and I respect it. That's a good business move. But when you have a layup, and the layup is, do you feel a sense of urgency to get a deal done with CeeDee Lamb, who is your offense, especially when you see the inactivity that you've had this offseason? Maybe the best thing to do is not answer truthfully. Which I didn't even mention prompted CeeDee Lamb to respond with an LOL on Twitter. Oh, and Michael Parsons retweeted what CeeDee Lamb said. The reason why the Dallas Cowboys seem to not be able to get out of their own way and seem to always be on the cusp of a championship caliber team and then ultimately fall short is usually because of Jerry Jones. And until that changes, which, he's the owner, it ain't going to change. I'm not saying they won't win, but what I'm saying is it'll be mighty tough. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.